Second Chances, 23 Steps to Transforming Adversity into Opportunity by Chuck Gallagher. Chapter 13, All Things Work for Our Good. 14 days short of 6 months in prison, and the question arose, where from here? Indeed, where from here? Every day is much the same as the day before. There is nothing fun about being an inmate. Having never been incarcerated, I experienced many things that I never expected to encounter. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that while in college, I would end up in prison. I was full of optimism. Embezzlement was not at all within my mindset. Yet it became a choice I made under great stress. It's odd to look back and see the path as lessons unfold. Such a review brings up volatile emotions. In prison, the challenges faced were not so much physical as they were mental. Around every turn, there was someone who was willing to tear me down, someone willing to cut away any of my remaining self-esteem. I came to understand that the treatment in prison was only a microcosm of what many experience in the outside world. It made me think of the homeless on the streets, where people make disgusting, demeaning comments to or about them. I thought about the person consumed in the throes of alcoholism or drug addiction. My prison experience taught me a lot about compassion toward my fellow human beings. Many become victims of those mental challenges within the walls of prison and outside the walls of prison. For me, how I handled those struggles was completely within my control. I could become the man's victim, or I could choose to overcome. These are the same choices we all face in the outside world. There are always those whose chief purpose is to destroy any remnant of humanity. I chose to overcome my circumstances. My intention when I entered prison was to learn all the lessons available to me. From the first day of incarceration, I wrote a journal. As I look back and read, it becomes clear that life often develops what it demands. The demand of hard times develops strong spirits, and through that comes learning. Life often seems to get worse before it gets better. This appears to be part of the process of change. Saturday, March 17th, 1996, Journal. I awoke this morning, as I do many mornings, in a contemplative state. One of the first things I heard was an inmate say to Buck, my cellmate, "I'm sick." Buck replied, "You're sick?" He said, "Yeah, homesick." "Me too," Buck said. "Me too." When he came in our room, Buck asked me, "Don't you hate to wake up miserable? You know, we should wake up with joy in our hearts." I felt deeply hearing what he said and replied, "I've about forgotten what that's like." I suppose one of the eternal struggles is to find peace and joy no matter what the situation. Personally, I think that's near impossible. Note, as an optimist, I didn't say impossible, but at the least, it's tough. You hear people claim that they've found inner joy and a peace that passes all understanding. That, I believe, comes with spiritual growth and connectedness. And I admit, I haven't reached the point where I can claim that feeling always. I have felt it before, but likewise, I felt pain as I struggled to learn life's lessons. I still find times when the loneliness of prison covers me with a wave of sadness that's hard to explain. The best description I can now give is that I once clung to life by a strong rope. Over the past several years, strand by strand, the rope has broken or become frayed, such that now I'm hanging on by a mere thread. Honestly, I fear the last strand breaking and all being lost. As I write this, however, I know that for something to be born anew, there must be a change and a cleansing. When a baby is born, there is pain, pressure, blood, discomfort, and finally the cord is cut. We call that the miracle of birth. I don't know what the baby calls it. Perhaps it's good we can't recall. While here, I am undergoing a transformation. Being here did not cause the transformation. That began some time ago. The experience only magnifies the intensity of the change. I don't think that my experience is any different than others. Oh, I realize that everyone doesn't experience the isolation of prison. Yet, I believe that we all have our times of intense trials and struggles. Times when, through illness or loss, separation or death, we find ourselves alone and hanging on by that last strand. I don't think, no matter how nicely we paint the picture, that we can honestly say we like that desperate feeling. However, every positive change, every jump to a higher level of energy and awareness requires us to go through a period of discomfort, just like birth. I believe that all of us have the choice of when lessons come to us. At least at the spiritual level, we have that choice. Intuitively, we will know when the time is right. Likewise, it is within our power to be the victim or victor. When, however, we permit others to make our decisions or responses for us, when we do what others say should be done, when we act as others say we should act, when we allow someone, some group, or something to direct our lives, we learn practically nothing. These actions may reduce conflict. However, a life free of conflict produces no growth. I may have experienced physical prison, but many people live in prisons created by their own choosing. It is impossible to change our circumstances without experiencing the full knowledge of how we got there. Prison for me allowed the time to look at myself and the choices that resulted in my physical confinement. A few hours after I wrote the above journal entry, I was able to observe a real-life example of choices that had negative consequences. Two men in my prison unit began teasing each other, engaging in horseplay that quickly degenerated. For the first time since my arrival, I witnessed a full-fledged fight, cuts, blood, and all. Here were two men who both knew that fighting in a minimum security facility carried dramatic consequences. Not only did the two physically hurt each other, but they also suffered the immediate consequences of detention and transfer. Both were shipped to a federal prison with bars, fences, razor wire, and inmates who have little regard for others. We could feel sorry for these two inmates, or we could understand the truth that we get exactly what we need to grow and learn. They will either move through life lessons without peace, or come to understand the larger spiritual picture. This is not unlike the challenges that everyone faces every day. Peace is obtained when we are aware of the larger spiritual picture. Unfortunately, most people have only a limited awareness, if any, of their roles in co-creation. By being consciously aware of our role as co-creators in our earthly plight, we come to an awareness of the big picture. Hence, when someone treats us unkindly, when harmless circumstances erode into an altercation, or when things just don't seem to be going our way, we can stop and understand that what is happening is for our higher learning. At that point, the momentary impact of the event becomes clearer and more meaningful. As we grow and learn, as we work on our mission, we have the opportunity to serve humanity in some way. Every positive change involves a period of discomfort. These men were clearly in a state of discomfort, the effect of which may last for years. In prison, I experienced a state of discomfort limited by time. Yet I know that I created this experience by my choices. However, I felt safe in my circumstances and peaceful regardless of what was happening around me. For much of my life, my understanding of the lessons involved was veiled. I just couldn't see the big picture. Answers are given through our higher selves as we need them and as we are ready for them, and not before. Why not have the answers placed before us since we are spirit? Why go through the process of learning when God can just give us the answers? Look at it from another perspective that might illustrate that truth. If an individual went to a university's medical school to learn neurosurgery and the instructor gave the class the answers to the test so they would pass, would the students have learned anything significant about neurosurgery? More importantly, would you want them to perform brain surgery on your mother? Learning is no different for us. It is important to understand how we learn. Having the answers before the question arises or before we understand we need them is tantamount to having a plethora of useless facts. Answers are useful only when they come in the context of learning or growth experiences. In prison, I felt as if I were in an abyss. Sometimes we have to go through hell to get to heaven. Don't discount that statement. For many, that is true. Lessons learned, spiritual journeys taken are often fraught with serious obstacles and tests. Through the test of fire, we often come to learn the strength of character. While the fire burns, that is also where the metal is tested and hardened. We're in what some would call a dog kennel. Bruce, my work partner and fellow inmate, began speaking as we returned from lunch. Think of it, it's Wednesday. So we're sitting here in the top of a metal building, sweltering heat, no ventilation, and sweat popping up on our foreheads. All around us is a tall, gray metal cage with only one way in and the same way out. Day in, day out, we have to be here. This is the base location of our work assignment. His description was accurate. The place wasn't so bad now, but in midsummer it became a hellhole, an environment not fit for any human. Bruce then continued with a profound statement. You know, I feel freer here than at the prison compound. There was a gentleness in his eyes as he spoke those words, and I understood. As prisoners, it's hard to find comforting feelings like freedom and happiness. When we do, we treat those experiences as precious gems. They are hard to come by, especially in a system that is designed to punish, one that tries to remove human dignity from life, which probably serves mostly to continue the decay of the prisoner. I wonder if this system rehabilitates or perpetuates crime. Somehow, I know that rehabilitation happens only by the strength of the person who makes that choice. It does not come from some institution saying it is so. Many days passed in prison with introspective thoughts occupying my mind. Some would call it prison hell, yet I came to understand some measure of peace and happiness there. Truth is, the stronger and more spiritually aware we are, the happier we can become. Happiness is obtained by giving, not by seeking to get. Therefore, the more we learn and grow, the more we can serve as a positive influence in the world. Influence is not limited to being in a certain place or doing a certain thing. We can have influence where we are in our daily lives. With that understanding, we can be happy anywhere. In No Ordinary Moments, Dan Millman illustrates some of this truth. Once I was driving on a curving road. A car going in the opposite direction passed me, and the driver yelled out the window at me, "Pig!" I felt very upset at being called a pig by a complete stranger. She probably has a problem with men, I thought, as I rounded the curve and nearly ran over a pig in the middle of the road. What he said in a unique way illustrates the fact that much of life is a matter of perspective. We can't always understand what's happening around us, why we are where we are, and what's around the next corner. What we can interpret as bad can be a rich blessing in disguise. Those blessings, in unusual ways, even come while in prison. Friday, February 23rd, 1996, Journal. Today has been a beautiful day outside. I'm beginning to find simple blessings in things like sunny days, squirrels at play, and birds in flight. I know it sounds simple-minded, but I wonder how often we take for granted the blessings that surround us. If nothing else, thus far, prison has taught me to become more observant and appreciative of what we have. Yesterday, for example, I was touched by a song that the choir sang. It's easy for me to connect with the music, but I sometimes miss the beauty and meaning of the words. The song we sang touched me on both counts, music and words. I thought of the painful lessons we all must at one time or another face. I wanted to share the words of this song written by Babby Mason in hopes they may touch a chord in your heart. All things work for our good, though sometimes we can't see how they could. Struggles that break our hearts in two sometimes blind us to the truth. Our Father knows what's best for us. His ways are not our own. So when the pathway grows dim and you just can't see Him, remember, He's still on the throne. God is too wise to be mistaken. God is too good to be unkind. So when you don't understand, when you don't see His plan, when you can't trace His hand, trust His heart. He sees the master plan. He holds the future in His hands. So don't live as those who have no hope. All our hope is found in Him. We walk in present knowledge, but He sees the first and the last. And like a tapestry, He's weaving you and me to someday be just like Him. God is too wise to be mistaken. God is too good to be unkind. So when you don't understand, when you don't see His plan, when you can't trace His hand, trust His heart. He alone is faithful and true. He alone knows what's best for you. God is too wise to be mistaken. God is too good to be unkind. There is great beauty in this song. For no matter what our station in life, our spiritual path moves us forward to ultimately unite with the Creator. While I may not like the pain and toil, I do know that it's for my higher good. That knowledge provides me peace of mind and an inner calm that helps me get through each day. I may not see His plan now, but I have the assurance that it is at work in my life, and through this experience, prison, I am learning many lessons. So, when you don't understand, when you don't see His plan, when you can't trace His hand, trust His heart. Traveling backward, reaching dark places in my mind, and remembering what got me in prison is painful at times. I would guess that's true for all of us. To understand where we are going, we have to know clearly where we have been. Knowing where we have been and truly understanding the lessons empower us to choose a pathway to more positive consequences. Every consequence is based in large part on our awareness of what choices we make and why. I experienced physical prison. Most who read this have not. For all of us, though, we have experienced prison at one time in our lives. It could be a prison of self-hate or the prison of poverty or shame. Our prisons may be the addiction to food as an emotional comfort or estrangement from our loved ones over crosswords in years past. Whatever prison we find ourselves in, there are truly lessons to be learned that are the keys to unlocking the doors into the future. They are the keys to making different choices, thereby releasing the chains that bind us and freeing us from our prisons.